So this is my presentation for my campaign paper part 2. The health campaign I'm going for is for hand washing and the proper procedures for it. I decided that to do this one with hand washing is so important, and through the research I realized that the lack of hand washing and the lack of knowledge of how to actually do the proper procedures and the lack of resources. And so through my research I decided to make my population be low financing and low economic status neighborhoods within America. And specifically I want to focus in at like primary schools and in elementary schools. My thought for going there is that if we teach these procedures young, these become skills and they'll become like habits, and so the children will carry this throughout their life and they'll be able to help teach the parents how to as well. I think it's also important to realize that some people might not have access to clean water or to soap, and so that's something we'll have to take into consideration. The theories I found for it, 2 of them kind of go around with the fact of trying to make change. The first one is the theory of change, which is important because if you go into someone else's home and try to tell them they have to change something they've been doing their whole life, because I'm assuming they've been washing their hands, they tend to fight back and you'll have resistance. And so the goal there is to try to take qualitative and quantitative research and kind of help make that change happen without being too aggressive or without trying to be rude. The next one that I chose is the stages of change theory, which will help because it gives us the more hand hygiene behavior and how to kind of reinforce that in non-somatic infections. It will help make our participants be more aware of that they need to change their behavior. So instead of us just telling them like, hey, you need to change this, it'll become that they are aware that they need to change it. And so therefore it will help us make that change because they'll be on board with us. The third theory that I wanted to kind of look into and that I thought would help this is the multi-attribute utility theory, which is the MAUT. I put that with the analytic heredity process, the AHP. Those theories together will help us, like there was a study with it and help learn that the antiseptic solutions, like the alcohol solution that you find in sanitizer, is the best for stopping infectious disease. In that study they found that it was for more clinical use, but I feel like it's useful enough to have the general public use too, to try to teach that, you can sanitize and that does help, but you also need to wash. The health message I want to create for the children, I would assume to make it like a fun interactive game or song to kind of, so it's easy to learn, because we're kind of changing stuff, but they know the basis of it, so it's not this huge change that we need to make with the campaign, but we do have to redirect how some things have been happening. So doing the song, which people already have out there, so it's not as if we'll be recreating from new, it's just going to be teaching a new population. These 3 theories will help with these methods in the campaign because they'll help us learn how to get the parents on board. And the goal is that the children learn and it becomes a habit, so they have it in their whole life and they'll go home and teach the parents, and the parents might be interested. But the goal is also to have the parents on board because they'll help encourage the children. And it's just like with anything in a school, you can have kids doing it, but if they're not doing it at home, it doesn't really stick. So the goal is to try to have both balances and help both generations until we have a new generation that's hopefully going to have it as a habit and continue it and teach it, and then we'll help the older generation to help encourage that. And that's what I'm hoping for with this campaign.